Hi, welcome to my miniature art and design channel. Today I'm going to show the process of how I make a miniature painting. I'm using a geometric painting I made, and as you can see, I have already unstretched the linen canvas. So basically you can paint any geometric shapes on canvas or even paper. I mixed all these colors myself, but you can buy all the paints already mixed at Blick Art Supply. Cut off the edge first to make it flat. Now I'm using a very heavy ruler to make it easier to cut. Now you're going to cut tiny strips of the canvas, and this will be the material you use for the miniature art. Try to make each cut the same width. I decided to make this video after I got a comment on another miniature art video asking about all the materials I used. I really appreciate the interest and positive comments I've started getting, and I hope this video shows all the steps so you can make your own art for your dioramas or dollhouses. Now that we've finished the cutting, place a piece of tape to hold the strips in place. You can get this cute miniature canvas at Blick. Now we are ready to make the art, and I'll be gluing each strip with Matte Medium by Liquitex. I first start by bringing down the strip and deciding which section I want to use. So in the early stages of the painting, I just bring some strips down to see if I like how it looks before I start to glue. I lay one strip down upright and the next strip is inverted upside down. Now that I like where the pattern is going, I start to glue the strips. As I bring each strip down, I slide it a little higher or a little lower to see how I want to connect the colors and how I want to create the composition. The trick is to remember to flip every other strip upside down, then raise or lower, until you like how it looks. Now that I feel confident in the composition, I just glue each strip and create the painting as I go. Now that I'm about a third of the way done, I'm going to shift the focus away from the green and introduce the next color, as well as change up the pattern. Now I'm bringing in more of the pink, followed by the blue. And you can see how I slide the strip up or down to create the composition as I go. This may seem like an odd process to creating miniature art, but it actually was an idea I pulled from my full-sized work. I made this massive painting on paper at an art residency a few years ago, and I decided to transform the piece into something new. So I started cutting the paper into strips and reorganizing them, flipping every other piece as I went. I loved how it turned out, and so I tried it in miniature and was really happy with the result. Making a miniature painting is actually really hard, so this collage process makes real-looking art to scale. Now as I'm finishing up, you can see I tried to bring in all the colors and vary the composition as much as possible. The next step is trimming the fringe. I'm taping the fringe in place in case I want to reuse some of the strips for another miniature art project. I put in a new X-Acto blade to trim the fringe, as you will only be using the edge of the miniature canvas to guide you. And voila, here's your miniature painting. You can be finished here, but I like to go the extra mile and make the back as well. Measure and cut a piece of linen canvas for the back. Then glue it on with the matte medium, only using a thin layer so it doesn't bleed through. Now I'm going to make the stretcher bars using miniature lumber I bought at Blick. You will also need a miniature saw and miter box to cut the 45-degree angle. I like to use a sanding block to put the miter box on, but you can also use the edge of a table. Measure the length and cut the lumber at an angle. There will be some splinters, so use the sanding block to gently smooth the edges. Now measure and cut the 3 other sides. This can be tricky to measure, and sometimes I have to go back in and trim the pieces for an exact fit. Now you want to glue the stretcher bar in place using wood glue. A good tip is to leave some glue out for a few minutes so it starts to get sticky. That helps it set up faster and make it easier to work with. All the moisture from the glue and the matte medium sometimes makes the painting bow, so I like to put the painting in between some books to let the glue dry and flatten the art. Now you're going to measure and cut the crossbars. Use a ruler to center the bar, and I use this rock to weight it down to dry. In this final step, it's okay to measure slightly longer, then you can just sand the edges until it has a perfect fit. Again, use a ruler to center the crossbar and sandwich between books for the final drying period. And here is the final miniature painting. She is so cute and looks so realistic on the front and the back. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again soon.